So how many people we have now? 38? Okay, let's wait another few seconds and then we'll start. So just for you to know who are people who are in the room, we have in total 36 teams that have joined the Tech Accelerator program. So this is such an honor for us to be in this room with you because you made it out of the 10,000 people. And this is an achievement by itself. Right, let's start. For those who have never met me, and I have never met, my name is Sarah Sadouk. I'm part of the Create App Championship. For those who are familiar with the competition and those who are not, I'll just give you a bit of a background about the competition. It's an initiative that has been launched by His Highness Sheikh Hamdan in 2023, and is part of the Create Apps initiative, which is the larger umbrella. The goal of this initiative is to position Dubai as a global hub for mobile app development. And the Create App Championship is one of the initiatives that goes and falls under the Create Apps in Dubai. The Create Apps Championship is running for the third year in a row. So the first year we had 1,800 people. Second year we had 5,000 people applying from different parts of the world. And this year, as you know, we had 10,000 people applying from more than 152 countries. So for us, it's great to see that the word is being spread and we have more and more innovators who are willing to bring their idea to life and bring their startup to life. So we are here today to help you bring your idea to life, and the Tech Accelerator team that you will meet today are those who are going to support you in adjusting UI UX, helping you launch on iOS and Android. If you have any question, please feel free to drop us a note on the chat. And if you have any question about the competition as a whole, please drop us an email on the Create Apps email that my colleague Mariam, who is with me in the room, will drop on the chat box. Now, for those who are part of the Tech Accelerator program, I just want to remind you that you will be showcased at the Museum of the Future and you'll get a graduation certificate. Being showcased at the Museum of the Future in the final is such a big PR and visibility opportunity for you as a startup, especially at the beginning, because we do have VVIPs coming to the event every year. Last year and the year before, we had the honor to have His Highness Sheikh Hamdan attending the pitch themselves and selecting as well, awarding, I would say, the winners. So it is a big thing by itself, and we are glad to have you with us for that. In terms of housekeeping rule, please keep your mic muted. Until and unless you want to ask a question, raise your hand and we'll give you the floor. The chat is open, so feel free to ask all your questions on the chat. And we'll run a Q&A at the end. If the question is not urgent, just bear with us. We'll open the floor for Q&A session. And please respect the space of others. When we say that is keep your camera on and your mic off. So if you're in the road or somewhere, we don't listen to all the conversation that's happening around you, and respect the space of each other. Without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my colleague, Mohamed Fawaz, who will take you with his team to the workshop, the next step. Fawaz, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hi. How are you all doing? So give me a reaction on your Zoom to say, hey, okay, let's start. Give me that go start. Give me that command. Yes, Mo. Right? Brilliant. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Arij. Thank you. Wonderful. With the same flow of great energy, let's keep going. So I have joining Tikam and Puran today, which will also guide you through multiple more testing stages. So let's keep moving. Right. So, Tim, I know some of you would have just joined, or I think some team members are new on these workshops. So we have a journey to go. And if I just simply put this in a very simple, straight words, we need to have your app published and live, and we have a deadline for it. So for that, there's vision and a mission that we want to achieve. So we are just after kickoff, and we did the workshop one, and we had the milestone unlocked, and you had submitted, and most of you had your one-to-one calls, and where the journey maps are starting, right? So with this, we're going to focus more on the close testing and iOS and how the testing environment works, and let's keep moving. And then the week 2 comes off, and we have the other upcoming weeks, but remember 26th of April, right? So, and then we have the structure that every week we do. We have this workshop, and this week is very special because we really wanted to get you speed up. So we had the first workshop about MVP to building structure, and then we had one-to-one, and some of you are still being booking your one-to-one, which you will definitely have that done within this week. And then now we are talking about the second approach of the testing environment from building to this. So we are collectively going towards that timeline because the days are numbered. Brilliant. So with that energy, so quick weekly check-in. So I know most of you submitted the wireframes and the screen flow and the updated feature list, and the team who had the one-to-one calls would really understand why we did this and how. So make sure that there is a deadline extended till tomorrow to submit if you have not. And if you are just on board, do not worry. We are doing all the way the support, the technical team with you. Create Apps Accelerator team will definitely support you to speed up, but let's also make sure we'll join to the speed up, right? And the initial functional build, yes, we did talk about. All right, let's keep moving. Yes, and the play console that you need to do. Right, let's talk about the weekly submission, which I was talking about right now. Let's grab the phone, scan the QR code, and let's get on it. This is about how your weekly submission has worked and where you feel. And as I said, the journey is collective, right? It's not just for the purpose of evaluation, the purpose of guiding you. So we can just be very fair. If you think that you have done your wireframe, like check in, updated your feature list to a clear or initial build is not there, just don't click it. Play console, click it. Execution of over configuration, if you have thought about and submitted it, go ahead and submit your selections of what you have done with this week. And let's move. Let's see what the results looks like. Mohammed, point taken, and please do write to us. And if there's any specific question you have, please let us know what you're on the chat. Yes, beautiful. And thank you very much. I know most of you, which is, as Sarah said, there's 36 beautiful team of working on great visions, right? So we have got 9 of you where you have submitted done and on the MVP feature list and the initial build. I know the Play Console App Store access, not that everybody has, but it's glad that you have thought through and you're going through, right? The execution owner confirmation is basically if you are the developer or using the developer account or who is the accountable technology person. Is it a personal account creator? So if you have not thought about it, make sure it's finalized, right? So execution of the owner confirmation of your app stores, Play Store, who is the point of approach with all this documentation, verification will happen because all these are about the verification process. Beautiful. Thank you very much for those who did, and those who are just getting on board or those who are just thinking and finalizing. You have this deadlines until tomorrow, so please make sure that you go ahead and submit. And why are we today here is about once we talk about building, we'll not only talk about building, we are building it for publishing. Building it for perfection is building for publishing or building for scaling. There's multiple approach to this, and this is personalized. It Okay, so this is personalized, right? So is it based on your idea, based on who are the team and what platform you are choosing, what industry vertical there are health and few other area which requires a special permission or documentation of things of that nature, right? And we'll go to the store listing, how do you need to be prepared actually more than of the vision, what are the tasks you need to do, and the data collection and legal terms. Most importantly, talking about the policies, privacy policies, and what is required so that you don't face a rejection. What are the things that we can get ourselves prepared to avoid the rejection? So that's going to be the agenda for the today, and let's begin. Let's keep moving up. Yes. So as I said, the overview, let's get on to the publishing on the Google Play and the App Store. As I said, we're going to take you through both these particular platforms. You can either prepare for Google Play or either prepare for App Store, or if you have the technical team, you can approach it for both. Today's session is going to equally cover both, But as I said, if you have already chosen the platform, if you're intrinsically looking at one platform, look at that primarily, but also have the other platform as a plan B. Sometimes it's a timeline doesn't change. We need to have a plan B. So make sure you give your focus on both of this and decide how you want to take this approach. And I'm gonna get my co-members Tikam and Puran to take over, and I'll come and check in between. Thank you, team. I'll be back. Yes, Tikam and Puran, take it over.
Thank you, Mr. Fawaz. Just give me a minute. I'll share my screen. So, hi everyone. Good evening, and it's really amazing day. And more than amazing day, it's an amazing topic to discuss about today. So we'll be covering in depth about the process of publishing on Google Play and Apple App Store. And there are so many do's and don'ts. There are practices, so we need to follow them to make sure we stay in line with this the strict timeline we are running on. And I will start with the main question. How many of you think publishing means uploading an APK and then just waiting? Because that misunderstanding alone has delayed more launches than bad code. And in this session, we'll walk through what actually happens during the publishing process on the Google Play and the Apple App Store, what reviewers are looking for, and how you can avoid the most common delays or rejections. Because you see, a lot of times we are publishing for the first time, we are founders focusing on building the app, refining the idea and everything, understanding the user metrics, but we don't know the policies that these Play Store and Apple App Store put in place. These are basically the barriers you have to walk through to get your app published successfully, right? And these stores works as perfect common ground to optimize your apps to the global standards, right? So there could be different rules and regulations in different countries, and you are targeting users around the world, right? And we need to comply with all the policies and requirements from these stores to make sure our app is completely polished by the time we are published, right? So by the end of this workshop, you should have a clear understanding of how to prepare your app and its store presence, so the review process becomes much smoother. And as per the meetings we had, one-on-one coaching calls, there are a lot of people who haven't even created the account. So what's the best way to start this workshop than to have a walkthrough with the account creation itself? So for that, we will work with a Play Store as an example on how to create your Play Store account. Okay. And for that, I would like to invite Puran to walk you all through this process.
Hi, everyone. It's really nice to be with you all here. And let me share my screen first to show you guys. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Puran.
Yeah, all sound and
Okay.
clear.
Great. Okay, so we'll be taking Play Console as an example on how to create the developer account and how to set it up. This demo will help you clear your doubts, maybe regarding the creating the account and anything that you might get stuck on. So I'll be doing the walkthrough. To begin with, I've opened this sign up page where you can sign up for the developer account. And to start, there are two options, two ways you can go with. Either you have a company registered
Sorry,
already.
Puran, can
Yeah.
you share this link on the chat for everyone to
Yeah,
have it
definitely.
as well, so they can do it while
Sure.
you're doing it as well?
Chikam will do it, I think. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so there are two ways you can create the developer account. Either you have a company registered, then you can sign up through an organization account, or you can sign up as yourself, as a personal account. Okay, so if you go with the organization account, you need to have something that identify your company to the developer companies, right? Like Apple and Google. So they cannot directly verify you without with just information, right? So they use a special number, which is the DUNS number, which you can get through this DNB, right? So you just simply enter your information regarding about your business, and then they give you a special number about your for your company. that you can use to create the developer account. So you can simply visit this link, dnb.com, and get the DUNS number from here. Click here and get the DUNS online. And then scroll down. There are 4 steps to get this number. You just have to select what's the reason for getting this number. I might select I'm a Google developer, so I need it for creating my Google developer account, right? So I'll choose this one. Then I fill up all the details about my business, the address, phone number, name of the business, owner, president, CEO, and the legal structure and all. I'll fill up the details. And there are 2 ways. If you are in hurry or you want the number earlier, you can expedite the process by paying a small fee to them. I think that would be 4 to 7 days. Otherwise, if you want it for free, then you can wait for 30 days, which I think in our case is not applicable because we are running on a timeline, 40 days, 45 days accelerator program. So if you haven't gotten your DUNS number already, I would suggest that you expedite the process and get the number quickly. And then they'll contact you back with the number through your email. Okay. So the first process, if you are going with enterprise account, organization account, is to get the DUNS number through this link. I'll share this link with you all, so you can check it out. Okay. So there are 4 types of companies as well. If you are a company or business, a non-profit company, a government or government organization, or educational institution. So you can select what applies to you. Then for this demo purpose, I will be going through the personal account. Okay, so let's choose this one. Then we have what you'll need to create a developer account for yourself. You will need an email address on which your developer account will be registered. Then a contact phone number and email address, which will be shown as a part of your public profile. Let's say your seller profile. So when someone visits your app or your developer profile, they'll see this contact information just in case they want to reach out to you. And there's a one-time fee, which is 25 USD that you'll have to pay at the end of this submission form. And then you can get the developer account. And one important thing, which is you'll need to verify your identity to publish your apps. Once you're done creating the developer account after paying the fee, you'll have to verify your identity. And this is the crucial part, which I'll explain later once I've done the demo, and I'll get back to it. For now, I think I'll continue. Give us a developer name. Okay, so this is your simply seller name, let's say, or developer name. This is what will be shown as a part of your publisher profile. Or maybe let's say I open your app and I see who developed in, or maybe who published it. Then this will be the name which will be shown on the account. You can keep it maybe your personal name as well, or your company name, which you will be building in the future, or maybe a fancy name as well if you wish to. So for now, I'll just keep it testing. Okay, it's already taken. Okay, then there comes payments profile. Payments profile is usually required for, let's say, when you have in-app purchases, or you would want to integrate payment systems to your app. So this is where the payment systems come in play. So either way, if you are not integrating any payment systems, you'll still need to connect your payments profile to your developer account. So to give you an idea, you can select it from here, but I'll go to directly my payments profile. You can visit payments.google.com and you'll come to this page. If you go to settings, you have all the information about your payments profile here. Okay, there's a payment profile ID, country, type, name, address, and then phone number and all. Okay,
I have a question, Puran, actually. Sorry to interrupt you.
Sure,
You have
sure,
a very good question on the chat. Can the personal account being changed to the company account later?
Yes, we can. On both Apple and Google, we can convert the account later if you want. You can provide them, maybe create a support ticket, or maybe get in touch with the support team, and they'll help you with the DUNS number by creating, by converting the account to organization account with the DUNS number.
Wonderful. So
Okay.
for now, while you're talking, they can do the personal account if they don't have a company
Yes.
already, and then they
Yes.
can convert it. Thank you, Puran.
Yeah. Just for the time being, I think it's best to create the personal account, and then let's later on convert it to organization account. So I think that's it. Just check on these things because these will be verified later. So make sure your address and everything is correct and matches with your government ID, whatever you will be submitting later on to verify your identity. Okay, for now, I have a payments profile created. So I'll select this one, or if you don't have any, you'll get this option to create a new profile. You can select this one and you'll be prompted a form which you can fill up with your details. For now, I'll select this one. Continue. Okay, there it is. Next, public developer profile. So now it says this will be your legal name used as a part of this developer profile, your country, and developer email address. This is the email address which will be shown as a part of public developer profile. So anybody who wants to reach out to you as a developer, they can use this email. Make sure you use an email which you want to make public to users, right? So this will be shown to everybody. For now, I'll use mine. I'm okay with using this one. Sorry. Testing. Okay, you'll get a code to verify this. Accept the consent. Click next. About you. Now they want to know more about us. What's our background and how much experience we have in terms of developing apps or publishing them. So the first form is tell us about your previous experience with Play Console and Android. This is only visible to you. So this won't be shown to people or the users who will be using your app. This is just to get to know you, and it's only internal thing. So for this form, I'll say if you are already a developer and you have developed app, you can mention them. Or if you have experience with publishing apps as well, that would be a great plus point you'll have. So you can mention everything here. Let's say for me, I have developed Android apps before, and
Yes, while Puran is going on that, and the team, if you don't have this experience, trust me, do not worry about it. Just put what your purpose here, like it's a first time, that's okay. Yes, if you have this experience, you will have an advantage, but the whole idea is also, if you had an experience before creating this won't be of a big of a challenge, right? So if you're doing this for the first time, do not worry. You are becoming a console developer today. That's it, right? So just get this filled and do this due diligence. And this is just only for them. And if you're also new, they will also auto enroll you to more other resources in the program that the Google itself has. So be just transparent, create the account. It doesn't really play a role in terms of blocking you, whether if you don't have an experience, does it really affect your review? No, it doesn't. It's about your personal verification, validation, right? So just go ahead and just create this one if you don't have one. Let the first experience begin. Yes, go on, Pura.
yes, thank you, Mr. Pavas. Yeah, as I said, it doesn't affect you or your profile, so it won't be used to judge you in summary. So you can be transparent and enter whatever you feel like. Then there's other Google accounts. This is just to say if you have used or you are familiar with Google developer accounts. Maybe you were part of a team or you had previous developer accounts or something like that. So let's say if I was involved with a team who were developing apps before, and I was added to the console just to help them publish and all, I would say yes, that I am familiar with this process and I have used Play Console before. Otherwise, you can simply say no, and it's totally fine. Then there's website. This is also a plus point. If you have a website, you can enter it. Otherwise, you can just simply say no, I don't have a website, and continue. This form won't be used to judge you at all, so don't mind anything. You can enter, you can be transparent and enter whatever you have. Number of apps. Okay. So it says how many apps do you plan to publish on Google Play in the next 12 months? This is also an internal thing and won't be used to judge you. Maybe you can put 1 or 2 or 5. For now, I'll be just publishing one, so I can put 1. And then earning money through Google Play. If you will be integrating payment systems to your app or you're planning to get revenue through your business, then you can say yes or no if you are not planning to do that, or maybe I don't know if I'm not sure as of now. Then app categories. This is just maybe quick get to know you thing. So they would want to know if you'll be publishing apps with any of these sensitive categories. Let's say you are publishing a government app or election app, news app, tobacco apps, banking apps. These are special categories. So if you lie into these, you don't have to worry about it. They would just want to know that if you'll be working on these types of apps. So for now, I'll say maybe no. or you can select whichever applies to you. So for now, I'll continue. Contact name. This is also for the internal team only. You can enter the name they will use to contact you. Our contact email. Verified. Preferred language. And then phone number. Maybe I'll put anything. Oh, it won't let me. Is it too much? Okay, that's it. So we are at the end of the form. You just have to read the terms and conditions. If you wish to, I would really suggest that you go through the all the terms and conditions. So you are well aware of the things. For now, I wouldn't select this. Okay, I'll confirm with the necessary points and create account and pay. I think that's it. You can pay the developer registration fee through your debit card or credit card, and your account will be set up. I think that's pretty much it for the developer account setup. And for Apple App Store, it's the process is completely similar. You have to enter all the details. This is the link actually. Tikam will share this with you, or otherwise you can select search uh, for Apple Developer Program. That become a member. You can start your enrollment through website, or maybe you can use their, if you wish to, you can search on your Mac for Apple Developer app and install it and enroll through this one as well. I would say that I would suggest that you go through this developer app. It is more reliable. I've seen in past that sometimes this website form doesn't work or it gives you error in most of the cases. So go with the app and go to your profile after signing in and enroll from here. And it will be same form with your personal details about you, about your apps you'll be publishing, and a $99 per year fee, and that's it. And then you'll be prompted to verify your identity. So I think that's it for the account creation process. I'll let Tikam hand over from here. Thank you guys, and you can drop your questions, and if you have any, I'll be happy to answer you. And I would really appreciate if you could guys put in the chat 1 to 5 on how much clear was that, or if you have any questions. 5 is clear, and 1 is no, I'm not sure how to create the accounts.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Puran.
Yeah.
I like this 1 to 5. We're getting a lot of 5. Well done.
Oh, that's it. Really
so
good.
if you're struggling with any of the steps, it's your time also to ask Puran on how to, and if you have any issue. Okay.
Oh,
I see
really
clap
amazing,
hand. I
Puran.
see thumbs up. Great. So we have
Thank you,
another
everyone.
hour and a half. If you have any question coming all the way, right? Tikam?
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. So there's one more step. So once you create those accounts, make sure the address you have provided matches your identity, right? So both of the accounts, they will verify your identity, and this is the common place where people get rejection, right? They delay the account creation. So make sure the address and your information is accurate, and you should have, if you are publishing on Apple, you should have a Mac, an iPhone, and if you are publishing on Android, make sure you have an Android device, because that is needed to verify your account as well. Okay, so moving forward, let's discuss about the introduction to publishing platforms. So like we discussed, publishing an app is not just uploading a file. These stores act as a gatekeepers for quality, and these are not just hosting platform. It's their responsibility to protect end users from poor experiences. Not everybody can come on these stores and just publish anything. So there are like thousands of apps published every single day, and these stores have bigger responsibility of making sure their users are not getting the bad experience. And if there's any bad apps, like there could be malicious apps, right? So they have these policies put in place just to make sure all apps pass these quality checks, right? They want to provide users with actual value that is promised and intended. They also want to prevent misleading and unsafe or incomplete apps. And approval means your app meets minimum trust and safety standards. So let's see how these two platforms evaluate your apps differently. So, okay, so if you prepare this same way for both stores, you will make mistakes. That's the basic starting point I would like to make here. These stores are different and they review apps differently because they think differently. These both platforms control app information and configuration. They control your store listings and metadata. They control the reviews that users will place, the approvals, and also the rejections. And they also do post-launch monitoring, right? Even if your app is published and there are some policy violations, they will keep monitoring for that. For let's talk about Google Play. Google Play usually have heavy policy driven and automation based approach, right? So Google's first reviewer, think of this thing as a Google is like a bot, you know. Google's first reviewer is usually a system, not a person. They have a lot of automated checks that is performed when you submit your app. And they also do post approval monitoring, which is also done automatically. And they have generally faster approvals because the things are automated, but stricter enforcements later. So Google allows faster entry, but it monitors you continuously. And for Apple App Store, there are human reviewers involved in the decision. You know, Apple is about quality. Apple is about privacy, right? So they have stricter reviewers. There's a real person evaluating your app all the time. Whenever you submit an app or an update, there will be a person reviewing it, and they focus on clarity, user experience, and overall intent. These reviews are generally slower but more opinionated outcomes because whenever you face a rejection on Apple will tell you exactly what went wrong, and they will be there to answer your queries as well. But since Google has automated checks, they will not tell you the exact reason, but they will tell you what violation happened, and they will tell you more broader category, right? So Apple cares about how your app feels, not just whether it runs. Make sure, for especially if you are developing for Apple, you have to have your barrier higher. So understanding this difference helps you prepare submissions more accurately. Now that we understand how each platform thinks, let's look at what an MVP means specifically from store's perspective. Because in the last workshop, we talked about MVP, right? So what an MVP means to app stores. This is where most founders and app stores disagree the most. To the founders, MVP can mean an early version, but to the app stores, MVP means minimum functional value. An MVP must it should have the core feature of the app and it should work properly. And it should not have any serious bugs, issues, or crashes. Basically, if the app crashes during the review, you will get the immediate rejection. And it should not mislead or confuse users with future promises or incomplete work. For example, your app should not have any coming soon features or any future promises that this feature will be supported. Just represent your app in its current true form as of today, right? So functional, let's look at how functional means, right? So the functional means the main promise works end to end. Example, if it's a booking app, booking must complete. If it's a task app, task must save. If it's a marketplace, listing must publish. So these are the examples you need to think about when you are also have your idea in place and you are going to publish your MVP. So now that we understand what a compliant MVP looks like, let's move on how your store listing communicates that. So as part of this workshop, we'll be taking Notion app as an example throughout this discussion, right? So let's look at this app at an MVP stage reference. So at an MVP stage, Notion would have focused only on the core value, creating and organizing pages with basic content blocks and notes and tasks. The app would still allow users to create, edit, and save content end to end without broken flows, even if advanced features like databases, templates, integration, or AI assistants were not there yet. This also aligns with the store expectation where minimal means fully usable, not incomplete or promise based. So here comes the activity. Mr. Fawaz, would you like to take on this activity?
Yes. Thank you, Tikam. Thank you. Right. Okay. We talked about the MVP last time, right? So we had a whole extensive workshop about how what MVP, what features to have, what is in a cake theory, mom test, and we talked about all of it. Now, with that version and what we heard from Tikam, especially about a Google Play and Apple developer program, if you are submitting an MVP, to the App Store, which of the following would you still be acceptable for review? Let's go, and it's okay if you have not done this before, right? It's not about right or wrong. It's all about we go through that process of thinking, right? Let's go ahead, grab the phone. And you've got few options, right? So the first one is a core feature is partially implemented and fails in the certain user scenarios. Do you think it will be acceptable for review? Right? Core user flow works end to end, but edges cases shows generic error messages. With error messages, do you think it's going to be right or wrong? So check whatever you think. No, you see, still be acceptable. Some secondary screens are visually not polished but functional. Right? A feature is visible in the UI but clearly marked as coming soon. An app delivers promised value but lack customization option. Think about this process, right? With this process, okay, I'm waiting to see. I know more of you are still trying. We can even refresh again, but let's create this conversation, right? So let's go back into the responses. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna get refreshed. Don't worry. Yes, there we go. Right, a core feature is partially implemented and fails in certain user scenarios. Only one of you have selected, right? Which is again, as straightly it would say, right? You can't have an MVP which is not functional. If you have something, it need to have an end goal. If it is your phase 2 in your project plan, you don't reflect that in this app that you publish.
Wait, Fawaz, we couldn't hear you for a second.
Right, sorry. So if it is a coming soon, or if it is your project plan, that doesn't need not to reflect on this build, right? And the second one is about the core user flow works end to end, but edges caches some generic error message. No, error messages are not tolerated. Error message is not a mistake, right? Something error happening, they consider no, it's not acceptable. Some secondary scenario visuals are not polished but functional. That's okay. It's better if you can polish it for better functional and logic, but if it is functional, it's acceptable, right? Good choice. A feature is visible but UI but clearly marked as coming soon. No way. There is no coming soon approach to this. As I said, your coming soon can be on your project plan, on your execution plan, on your phase 2, right? Maybe your post competition or with attraction and the where Sarah is taking, this can unlock a lot of new opportunities and growth potentials, right? So that can be not need to be reflected here. This is not your app for investor. This is an app for your beta user, right? So let's be, and this is sometimes we entrepreneurially argue, right? I've gone through in one-to-one calls. It's like, no, we need to have this feature. It's core, right? But yeah, great. Do you have the time and approach to build or the technology to build? Or we don't have it for the sake of having. This is not your marketing pamphlet, right? So let's be very clear. An app delivers the promised value but lacks of customization option. Customization option is a luxury on the basics. As far as you have given your account fundamentals, right? Customization and fundamentals are two different things, right? Now, for example, the account somebody created, somebody should have a delete option. That is not a customization. That is a fundamental. Customization can be, can you change your profile picture to an avatar? Right? Can you make it a more Gen Z-ish, or if you're targeting a different target audience, or can we make it more kid-friendly, or can we have an animation on it? No, that's customization, not relevant. I mean, it can still, they will accept without those customizations, right? So thank you. So this thought process is very important. Let's bear that in the mind and let's keep going. Right. So give me a thumbs up. You feel like confident we can get this done, or put it on the chat. Yes. Good. Good. Right. So with that,
A lot of thumbs up.
thank you, Sarah. So with that, guys, we're gonna go to the drafting the store listing. Remember, now it's we are the task head now. So whatever next we're gonna say is something that you have to do about it. Right? Let's get the hands a little dirty. Let's get on. Yes, over to team and yes.
Thank you, Mr. Fawaz. Both answers were correct, and really, really great that all the teams are following along so well so far. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. This is the place where we actually talk about creating the store listing, and we'll walk through that whole process. So whenever you create an account, can you confirm, can I get a thumbs up in the chat if you can see my demo screen? All right. So once you get on the dashboard, once you verify your Play Console account, you will be presented with this screen. This is the dashboard of your Play Console. And here, when you come down, you see there are apps created. This is just demo account. So there are apps created, but for you, it will be just this button to create a new app. Once you click on that, you have to provide the name for it. And since we are taking Notion as an example here, we'll try to create a Notion listing. Okay. So let's give it a name and select a language that applies. If you are targeting for a specific region, then you might want to select a different language. Otherwise, English US would be fine for the most apps. And this is where you also have to decide if you are publishing an app or a game, right? For us, it's an app. And this is also a crucial step, right? So until your app is published, completely approved by Google Play, you can change this option, whether your app is free or paid. But after the app is approved, you cannot change this option. So make sure you select the right category. For Notion, it's a free app, right? So users don't have to pay before downloading the app. You might have seen on the Play Store, you have to pay for some apps. You have to pay before you are able to download those apps, and that's where you decide this. Okay, so I'll select free and confirm the policies. As Puran suggested, you might want to look through these policies to understand the requirements better and then continue. So it will take a few seconds to create your app in their backend, and then we'll be presented with the steps we need to take for creating the listing. So it will refresh like this. And now we are on the dashboard of the app we created, right? It has all these steps. Don't need to get overwhelmed with this. It's pretty straightforward, and it's like a wizard window, right? You have to check steps by steps, and then you will eventually be on
Hi,
the stage
Tikam.
where you can
Hi,
launch that.
just a
Yeah.
quick one. I'm going to quickly address Mohammed on the chat so that it's very relevant on the flow. What if some features are free and some are paid, and how can we make it in-app purchase? So, Mohammed, this connects between something that Pooran said. So, if your app needs to have in-app purchases, right? Or if you want to distinguish between a subscription model. So, Apple works with the Apple subscription and Google Play works with its own subscription model where they know it's a subscription, it's a free user to premium user. Mostly that comes with, and you have that as an option. You need to get your internet payment gateway. Sometimes you need, for that you need a trade license, right? And to validate that. So if you are having that as a feature in your MVP, the first crossed list is, do you have an enterprise account to back you up on this process? And if that is so, within this timeline, we can achieve that, right? But if not, it's going to be there. So just to make it very relevant. So if you have, yes, we will be having this configured with the monetization part will be incorporated. Yes, Tikam, you can just continue on the flow. Mohammed, hope it helps you. Thank you, Mohammed.
Yeah. Just to add on that, if your app offers in-app purchases, it is still considered as a free app. Users can download it for free, but then later they have to pay. And for certain categories, for example, if it's a delivery app, if your app sells digital goods or any sorry, not digital, physical goods. If you are selling physical goods, you can use another payment provider, that is third-party payment provider, right? But if you are selling anything digital, that is not a physical thing that you ship to users, you will have to use Google Play and Apple App Store's own subscription system, right? They have their payment systems to integrate, and you will have to use that. So continuing on our demo, there are testing phases, and you have to focus on this part, finish setting up your app. And these are all the checkboxes you have to tick before an app is eligible for publishing. So first and foremost, we set the privacy policy. And here, this is a tricky thing to do, right? A lot of founders, when they start building the app, they don't realize the privacy policy is the first thing they have to tackle. And this is something also a lot of people not know about, right? We are not lawyers, we are founders, we are entrepreneurs, we don't know about the legal stuff. So this is required, right? Because there are different policies, different regulations around the world, and for that these stores also make sure you follow that and you have a privacy policy in place to protect you and also your end users. So I'll share a quick demo of how to create a privacy policy effectively without knowing too much about it. Okay. So when you go on Google, you can search on privacy policy generator, and there will be a lot of free privacy policy generators available. And I'll pick this one. Puran, please share this link in the chat also for people to follow. But I'll show you a quick demo here. You come on this screen, and this is free privacy policy generator, right? If you try to use anything else, they might ask you for money, but this is open source, so I would recommend you use this one. And if your app is heavily, in a category where regulations are more heavy, like finance and all that, you might want to consider with consult with the actual lawyer, right?
Yeah. I'm intruding for a few seconds, and because both of that questions are directly talking to the privacy policies also. So Camilla has asked, should we be formally registered as an LLC in order to have a payment gateway on Google Play? And then Leon has that, if it was a monthly subscription, do I set it for free or paid app where there are some free features and the users can use on the app? And is there a legal mentor in the creative system? Okay, that I'll come to that. Before that, these two questions on the for both of this, right? As I said, the monetization component is a more of an enterprise level approach, right? And when this monetization is more on in terms of when you want this Google Play to have a payout for you, or Apple Developer Program to have a payout for you. That's your entrepreneurial understanding, right? So why you put a subscription is they need to pay you. And as Tikam said, if it is a phygital or if it is a non-phygital, so if it's neither physical, it's not completely a hybrid or a service, it's a digital service. And if it is a form of subscription, the best way to understand is you purchase on Noon or Amazon, you have an Amazon Prime subscription. But you can also do top-ups, you buy some on the offers, and you part of the other ecosystem that they provide. That is transactions, that is e-commerce. But the subscription is you have a monthly subscription, right? For example, I think Amazon Prime has, or Netflix do have too, but there are subscription has some feature movies, and there are some top-up add-ons. Add-ons with the subscription, you need to pay to see that or stream that. Those are add-ons, right? So you need to understand in terms of features, boil it down to where is this particular payment is subscription coming? Where is this freemium to premium happening? Or if you are gonna do with the tiers, it's a free tier, it's a paid tier, it's a gold platforms where you have restriction. In terms of publishing this and your ability to growth where the market wants, we always suggest you to go with the most simplest skeleton format to get your app published, right? Better to have these on the mapping so that when you reduce the size, you really know when you are going to go for the growth. Now that is reflected on the privacy policy. How? Because you are handling money, right? If you have that, your privacy policy should be reflected to that. Your refund policies, cancellation policies, right? How, when they will be canceled, what is the rights of where the ad freemium, or does it have a cache memory? Do you store the data? So there are a lot more add-ons coming which can affect your publishing process too. But if you have the team, as I said, to focus on getting these things in place, while the payment integration is also a lot of technical work, right? So be realistic. So it interconnects. Yes, not going to take much time, but wonderful question. To tanking, is there a legal mentor in the CreateApps team who can help review our privacy policy? Not from a completely of a legal standpoint, but in terms of digilegal, right? In terms of digitally secure, where the GDPR, Global Data Protection Regulation, you don't violate the fundamentals of the regional cybersecurities in frameworks, or you don't go against. Now, for example, the educational data, if you're not using it more than 3 years, it's need to be deleted, which means your data needs to have a delete option, which is technical, which is reflected in the privacy policies, right? That, as I said, keep wearing the hat of 45 days, and we're going to have this published. Okay, back to you, Tika.
Thank you, Mr. Fawaz. So back to this demo. Here we have this free privacy policy generator, and I'll start the process. Let's write the app name, and it should be the same name, exactly same name that you are using on the Play Store. Let's provide an email address. This email address will also be written in the privacy policy, so make sure this is the public email you want to show. And the date would be the same date you create this privacy policy, all right? And this is personally identify information which you collect about the user. So make sure if your app has login, it will be email, it could be user ID, then the payment info, and other details, for example, analytics. This is also considered personally identify information. Whatever that is linked to the user identity, you might want to mention here. So it will give you the best initial text for that. So select the app type again. Your app could be free, it could be open source, it could be freemium. Freemium where app is free to download, but later user have to pay. And for Notion, it is of course freemium app, and it might have ad, it may not have, but for now we are just gonna select premium. And is the location track?
Wait, TK, we are losing you. TK, we lost you for a few. Yeah.
We lost you for a few seconds. Yes, yes, Tika.
Okay, okay, I'll say again. So since Notion is a freemium app, we'll select freemium.
Okay, we are losing you.
I think we are losing you, Tikam. All right, fine. Until Tikam is back, right? Yes, Puran, just check the system or if we can keep moving. Tikam, you're back. Can I take it? Okay, until Tikam sorts. Guys, let's make sure that you select your app type, and which is mostly, as I said, go with the freemium. And if you, until Tikam is back, if you are talking about the free, open source, ad supported, and commercial, it has its own regulation again. If you choose this path, this is not just a tick box, just to make sure that you make a simplest way that you get your app published. Rather than this can always be brought back into the time, and we can always change this. Right? Done. Yes, Jacob. Hope you're back.
Okay, can you confirm if you can hear?
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's it. Yeah.
Okay, I think we are losing you, Tikam. So maybe Puran, you can take over
Take
that
him.
part.
Yes, Puran, if you are on the screen, you can take over the screen of Puran. Sorry about it, Tim.
Yeah.
All right. So
So
these
Am I back now?
You are back, but I just want to make sure that you are back for good.
yeah, it's not working.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead.
I think it's working now.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, so since Notion has AI, I selected AI and it does not track location. I'll continue with that option. And we have to select mobile OS, and Notion is published on both Android and iOS. I'll select both, then continue. It is company, but for now, as a demo, we are using an individual name. So let's just Notion LLC, something like that. Notion. Okay, so this is also a place where you need to select all the services your app uses. For example, you could be using location. For that, Google Play services are required. For Notion, we do not use that, but we use Crashlytics to measure the performance of the app after it is launched, and also the analytics. Let's say anything else we have. So all these services you can select and then continue. And now it has generated a template for us. When you click on privacy policy, this is the initial starting template you have for privacy policy. So I'll just copy it here. Now there are two ways to deploy this. Either you have your own website where you can publish this privacy policy, but make sure your website is online all the time. It shouldn't be the case where your website goes down for a few minutes or hours, because Google keeps monitoring your privacy policy links. And whenever your website is down, it will also affect your app. So for that, if you don't have a website, I would recommend you use Google Sites. This is always online and it also works. It is fine to use. So you can create a blank website and you can provide your app title and then say it's a privacy policy, and then also add a block here and paste all the privacy policy that we created, right? And now again, just to make sure, this is for just a starting template, right? If your app is rather simple, you can use the privacy policy as it is. We'll be there to review your privacy policies as well. But if your app is in an industry which is heavily regulated, you might want to consult with a lawyer and then write a proper privacy policy. And we'll come back to this privacy policy later with the Notions example in the session. Okay, and you can
Tikam,
click
just quickly
publish.
taking up these questions, and also Tikam, we can also rush
Okay.
the component which we
Sure.
have answered in case of the privacy policy discussion later again. And as we
Sure.
may include more third-party websites over the time throughout the app evaluation, how often do we update this privacy policy? Okay. Team, there's two components. When you are selecting that particular privacy policy generated, there is a lot of third-party services it's asked, which means you also have to think, okay, if there are maybe sometimes you have not thought about these integrations, right? So this can help you even for you to understand, okay, these services are available, like Tikam was showing the analytics component, which means you are tracking the user's data. That's why the privacy policy is relevant. So likewise, go through that process and make sure that you have a and Google, once it's published, it also monitors, as Tikam said. If there's any thing that they see they have not updated or anything, you will get a notification 7 days, and otherwise, if you don't do anything about it, they will turn your app down. So there will be a close relationship that you will have with your Play console. But that's also whenever you update your feature, you remember to go back and reflect on your privacy policies. And privacy policy is right now technical for you, but in future it's strategical and growth potential. Corporates would love to see what your privacy policies are. So it's down the line. For now, have the Google sites ready. We are not going to depend on your domains or anything. So let this journey not stop. So we are technically viably doing it. But yes, in the future, in your website, have your privacy policies. Every time you do a release, make sure you reflect on that. Yes, hope that question answers. Dan, yes. Dan, now Tikam, let's take it over. And whatever answers Tikam, we can write. And I think once soon after publishing Tikam, we can go for a 5 minutes break. Yes.
Okay, sure. So make sure the link is selected as visible to anyone, and you just provide a unique URL here and publish. Once you publish, you will have this link. See, this is the link. I'll copy it over and then provide here. Okay, and then save. All right, so this step is done, but this was crucial, of course. And now it comes to app access. So this is the place where you declare that whether your app has an authentication method or not. It could be username and passwords. It could be two-step verification. It could be location-based access. For example, your app is only accessible in certain parts of the world. And it could also have membership or subscriptions. For example, the app can have some free screens where users without membership can access those screens, and then they have to pay to access the other features of your app. So this is where you also declare that. So for Notion, you might want to select this because we have login, right? They have to create an account to have all their tasks synced between different devices. So I'll select this, and then you have to add instructions. So this is basically your way to tell Google reviewer that my app is fully accessible without any authentication, or you have to authenticate with the app before being able to see all the features and screens of the app. So for now, I'll write login. This is just the name for this instruction, and you have to, this is a must-have part. Everyone who has an app with an authentication method, they should have a test account ready. This account will always be used whenever you submit your app for review to both of the stores. So make sure you have a demo account that is always provided to Google, and it should be accessible always. It should have all the membership and perks unlocked, so Google can review each and every feature of your app. So for example, Notion could have test@notion.com. This is a demo account. So test@123, something like that. And this is the place where you provide all the information, how to access all the features. For here, I'll just write, you can access all the info after login using the demo account. But basically you have to be descriptive about it, right? Tell about how to access the app, certain parts of it, how to if you have certain ways to some of the features are blocked behind a paywall, then mention that as well. So be descriptive as much as you can. You have to explain, basically the person who will be reviewing your app, they will have to understand this, how to navigate through all of the features, and then they can review each and every feature of your app and get it approved. Okay, and then you want to tick no other information is required to access my app, and then add. You can add multiple instructions if you have multiple ways of authentication. Okay, for now I'll just select one and then save. I think, Mr. Fawaz, we can take a break for 5 minutes here.
Yes, team, let's grab a coffee, let's grab something and just be back with an attentive because your works and all of it. Let the 5 minutes countdown now. Let's see you back.
Okay. And Bahar, you had a question? You want to
Yeah.
ask a question now or later? When
Um,
everyone is back?
Up to you, up to you. Like if you want, I can ask later.
Yeah, we're going to quickly address so that we can come back and freshly start. What type of login would you suggest for the sake of 45 days to publish successfully? Yes, has Puran has commented. If that's your question, Bahar, or you have anything more?
Yeah, anything more? I'll ask later. No worries.
Yeah, so everyone can benefit from it maybe. Fawaz, let's have a 5-minute break.
Yes,
And
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
Over to you,
Hello,
Deepak.
hello, hi team. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, you know what? Give me a let's like give me a do command in chat. That's your
A what?
comeback. Yeah.
A what? Do command? What is that?
I mean, give chat type do on the chat.
Ah, okay.
Do.
I thought it's a tech thing that I don't know. I was like,
No, no.
what? I don't know this
No.
one.
It's not a secret command. It's not a mouse code. Don't worry. Okay.
Fine.
Dina,
Do
thank
that.
you. I need more do's. It's a can do. Like I know we're talking a lot of things, which is privacy, policy, submissions. We were like, okay, we had only feature and build. Like we are talking a lot of things. I know, right? So that we need a whole can do attitude. Yes, that's a lot of do's that I want. Right? Yes, Bahar, let's start with you. What questions you have? Yes.
Hi, Tim. Thank you
Yes.
for helping us today. So my question was about login information. I've seen some similar apps on the Google Play Store that initially when you start moving around the app, they don't require you to log in, but you start logging only after if there's some purchase or subscription information. For example, for more challenging data, you should pay and get this information. At that time, you start signing up and logging in, etc. In that case, what can we do? What rules we should follow?
But more than of the rules, right? So this is now again falling back to the concept relevancy. If you are able to offer something that you really don't want them to commit action, and it's where when they commit action they need to have a purchase. Why they need an account is when they are purchasing, right? Or if they want to comment, if it is a forum, if it is a feature of a forum, that they can weave the information. But if they want to put an opinion about it, right, so they need to have an account, right? So likewise, so if you on your user flow, right, if you are identifying this, and then if you are able to come to a point, you know what, for this version I'm not going to ask them to commit an action, it's that the interest they need to show, then you can take that whole component of the login out, so that you want more people to use it. So this is also in a strategically called freemium to premium, right? It's a freemium to premium strategy. You just want a lot of people to get onto the app right now, not them to log in. So you have more exciting things coming, and then on the third week, fourth week after publishing, you can do another release, which is possible. Create that feature and do a release, right? And they'll get an update. So yes, if that helps you, answers Bahar.
Thank you. Yeah, just wanted to make sure that should we declare this as I think Tikam showed us details. We should mention the details. Should I give the details initially? No,
This is
Yes,
this,
I would
yeah,
like
go
to
on, Deep. Go on, Deep.
address it. See, if you have this model where user don't have to log in until or unless they make an purchase, this is first of all perfect strategy. This is how industry standard are followed in bigger apps, right? This is great way, and you have to mention this. Just make sure you make bullet points that how to log in into app, how to access certain parts of your app. You just have to be descriptive, right? Basically, you are telling the other app how other person how to review your app, right? So provide all the information apart from the credentials as well. And I hope that answers your question, by the way.
Yeah, perfectly. Thank you so much.
And take
So
up the Shalom's question and finish it off. What if the application has two kind of users? Yes, as Tikam said, guys, this is your technical guide or manual that you are putting in the chat. Make sure the testers loves your product, so they are given a clear instruction, right? So that's what you do in the chat. Yes, back to you, Tikam.
Yeah, Shalom, that's a great question. And this is where we can actually select two different instructions. As I shown you in the demo, there are ways to add multiple instructions. If the app has multiple user-facing roles, for example, a delivery driver and then the restaurant owner, something like that. So if you have multiple login methods, you can add multiple instructions. And according to those login roles, you can explain different steps how to access the app. Okay, hope that answers your question as well. Can you give you a thumbs up? And for Arish Ahmed, I think this we can take on one-to-one call. But as a key insight here, I can provide you. Make sure if you have you make sure you have some certain apps that you know are similar to yours, right? And then you go on to their privacy policy and then see what they have included. That will give you a guideline of how to draft your own privacy policy if you want to go into detail. And in the coming slides, we will also discuss about how Notion privacy handles that. So that will help you understand this better as well. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So moving forward, can anyone confirm the screen is still visible?
Yes,
All right.
Dick. Yes,
Okay.
go on. Let's accelerate.
Okay, so if your app contains ads, you want to declare that right here. Don't be tricky about it. If your app will contain ads, just declare that it will have. And if it doesn't contain ads today, but if you are planning to add ads in future, you will have to come back to this section and update it. Okay, so keep it like that. And Notion does not contain ads as of now. So I'll select this and save. Then come back to the screen. This part is content rating, right? You might have seen the movies have content rating, whether the movie is rated for 3+ audience, 5+, 13+. There are age ratings, right? So depending on that, the apps also have content rating, whether this app is suited for what target age group. And based on that, you have this questionnaire that you have to answer. So we'll start this and provide an email address, something like that. Then select the category. So we don't have this one, all other types. Okay, and agree. Then next. So does the app contain any ratings relevant to these things I'll download as part of content package? So this is basically all the different questions they will use to determine which group is your app most appropriate for, right? So you want to answer that. I will not go into details here. It's pretty straightforward. All the questions either have yes or no answers. And once you complete this questionnaire, your app will receive a rating, age rating, right? Just like movies have. So for now, I'll just save it here. I'll come back. Then the target audience. So here, since I have not completed the questionnaire, I can't select these 3 categories. These are also sensitive. So for the most apps, usually this should be the target age, target audience, right? And if your app specifically falls for into category where children will be using your app, you might want to select that as well. But for that, the reviewers will check your app more strictly, whether your app appeals for children unintentionally or something like that. So for now, I'll just select this broader audience and click next and save. And then this is the most important part of listing. This is something the reviewers will match with your app's experience, right? So data safety is basically where they determine your app perfectly discloses all the data types that you collect, whether your app collects the information about their personal info, their payment info, their location. All these are the data types, right? You could be collecting their pictures for profile picture. If your app has chat feature, you might be also collecting storage permission where users can attach different types of files. So you can declare all that here. And when you click next here, it will ask, does your app collect or share any of the required data types? For Notion, yes, we collect some kind of data. And as per today's standard, most of the app, 99% of the apps use encrypted data transfer methods, right? So we'll select yes. And which of the following methods of account creation does your app support? We do have username and password and OAuth. We'll select 2. You can select whichever applies the most to you. Okay. And here they will ask about account deletion URL. This is also important for both Play Store and App Store, right? So if you are creating an account for the user, all of the data will be linked to that account, right? And user have privacy right to get their data deleted. So for that, you will have to create a form. Just like we created a privacy policy, you can create a form on your website or create a direct link in an app to delete the account details and all the data associated about that user. For now, demo, I'll just use the link we created for privacy policy, just for an example. But for you, it will be an actual link where users can go and request the data deletion. Okay. I'll save this info. And do you provide a way for users to request that some of the data is deleted without requiring them to delete their account? This is optional. You can skip it or answer correctly. Okay. Click next. Here, this is the part which will take the most time for you, and you have to do this careful evaluation. You might want to work with your developer to select all the relevant info, because you as a founder may not know all the data that is collected by your app. So for the sake of this demonstration, I'll select all the relevant options here. For example, personal info, we collect name, email address, phone number. For the financial info, I can also select user payment info when user pays for the subscription of Notion, right? And we do not belong to this health and fitness category, so I'll skip that. Notion also has photos attachment option. So basically all these data types that apply to your app, you have to select properly and then click next. And so whatever options you select, there will be more information to be provided here. So you select all this. For name, I select it, this is collected and it is not shared. Whether you share that data type with the third party, it could be any service that your app uses, any third party API. So in that case, it will be considered as a data shared with third party. Okay. So for now, we are just collecting for Notion's own features, not to share it with third party. I'll select collected. And for most part, this will be yes, this collected data is processed ephemerally, because the data is only used while the service is utilized. Okay. And this is required feature, required for app functionality and communication and personalization, and also account management. So whatever that applies to you, you'll select like this. And for every single data type you select, the questionnaire will be the same, and you have to select carefully what applies to your app. Okay. We will also help you with this part later on one-to-one coaching calls. Okay. And here you just have simple declaration whether your app is government or not. This is not. Save. If your app has any financial features, this is the category where the reviewers take most of the time. If your app falls into all of these categories, like loan facilitator, banking, credit, mobile payments, or digital wallets, you might want to work on that accordingly, because it will take longer review for you. But for us, our app doesn't have any financial features. Save. Now coming back to this part, we will select for the health as well. Our app does not provide any health features. It's the same thing as financial info. If your app falls into these categories, your app will take longer time to review. So make sure you take an account for that as well when you are submitting your app. Now, once you have completed all this section, now you can continue with your contact details. Whether your app is app or game, this is what you selected initially. You can edit here and select the category. So there are only few categories, and for us it will be tools. Okay. Make sure you select the correct category which describes your app functionality the most, and also add some tags like whether this is related to these categories and any. For example, let's see, notebook. Okay. Productivity. Okay. And provide email address, phone number, and website here. This is the final part now. So when you create the store listing, this is something called store listing, and I'll show you how it looks on the Play Store. When you open Play Store, this is called your store listing, right? It contains images, about, description, the app name, the app icon, everything. So everything that you see there, it is provided through here. You want to select short description, full description, then provide all the graphics, app icon, feature graphic. If you have a promo video, you can attach here. So for these parts, we'll go into details in each slide. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Once you add all this info, you have to save it. Okay. Coming back to our slides. So now let's interpret what we have just experienced. Store listings are the first impression that matters, before anyone installs your app, they judge it through your listing. And if users don't understand your app in the first impression, they'll get confused. So your store listing is first thing the users will evaluate, and first things the reviewers will verify. So it should clearly answer these three things. What does this app actually do? Not what it might do, not what it planned to do, but it should answer what can I do immediately after installing, right? This question should be answered when the user is looking at your listing. And second is, who is this app meant for? And third is, why should a user trust it? So the trust factor specifically is where the data safety section comes in. So if your app is, let's say Notion, and you are also declaring your app collects the location information, then the user will not trust it, right? Why would a note-taking app will need my location? So make sure your data safety section is ticked off clearly and most reliable way possible. Okay. So let's take an example of Notion listing here again. This is the complete store listing of Notion as shown on the store. You can see it's clean, professionally structured, and immediately communicates what the app does without exaggeration or decorative formatting. Professional listings will also reduce friction during the review. So let's break down each element of the store listing, starting with the app name and icon. So here, this is where many apps unintentionally create red flags. Your app name and icon are evaluated in seconds by users and reviewers. So your app name should be clear and easy to understand. Your app's functionality, it should be aligned with the core use case, right? And your app icon should follow app icon guidelines of the platforms, and it should remain clear at all small sizes. So if you use AI or some tools to create your app icon, make sure you zoom out on the icon and see if it's actually visible. If there are any unnecessary details added to the icon, make sure you simplify that. And it should be consistent with the app's brand and purpose. And you specifically want to avoid copying popular brand names and logos, and don't add emojis and special characters or capital letters unless it means something. So for example, would you install an app that's called Best VPN Free Unlimited 2025? No, right? So that will be a bad example of app name. And for example, I'll show you a demo. When you go on Google, you can search for Play Store icon guidelines or App Store icon guidelines. And there will be these two links. For Google Play Store, there are icon guidelines. You might want to follow these icon guidelines when you create your app icon. Some of you have already created the icons. Just make sure your icons align with these guidelines. And for App Store, there are also different guidelines. And they also provide you some tools to create your icon in this format. Okay. Now let's look at the name. So let's analyze this name strategically. Why does this work? The app name combines a strong brand identifier with concise descriptors that communicate core functionality. It's called Notion, Notes, Tasks, and AI. Right? It avoids keyword stuffing. Unnecessary keywords are not there. It's only that the core value delivery, those are the keywords that are used here. And it does not use any decorative formatting. The app icon is simple, recognizable, and visually consistent with the brand. It remains clear across different backgrounds and sizes without unnecessary detail. Now that your app name and icon set the first impression, your description must maintain the same level of honesty as well. So if your description promises more than your app delivers, you are creating your own rejection. Basically, the good descriptions explain the core value proposition clearly. Your first paragraph should answer what problem does this app solve, and it should match exactly what the app does today, and it should set the realistic and honest expectation. You should totally avoid absolute claims like guaranteed results and best in the world. Those claims are nothing, right? You don't just write them on the description. And you have to avoid description that says coming soon or any future promises. It should avoid overhyped marketing language, and this is specifically a place where a lot of first time app builders do problems when they try to add emojis and be creative, unnecessary hashtags, special characters, or capital letters. So store listings are not social media posts, right? They have to be professional. So make sure you don't use any unnecessary stuff like this. Now let's look at the real description example and see how the structure and tone makes a difference. See, this Notion description clearly explains the app's current capabilities and core use cases. All the claims made in the description are verifiable inside the app, and no future features or promises are mentioned. The description maintains a neutral, informative tone without marketing exaggeration and emojis or gimmicks. So if your description contains any of such things, you might want to remove those. Now let's look at the next visual layer, which is screenshots. Okay, so can everybody give me a thumbs up so far? How are we following along so far? Give me a 0 to 5 rating in the chat. Mohammed, 6. Amazing. Amal,
Nice.
5.
Amazing. Amazing. And also
Musa,
take a
5.
benefit of time. Let's keep accelerating. Thank you, Bahar.
Yeah. Sure.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Because I know
Amazing.
we could team. Let's take it holistically. Let's make sure we stick to this, and we can take a lot of one-to-one. Right, your personal coaching is to go in the details. So this is to make sure that you prepare your fundamentals. Take a benefit of time. Let's keep share
Okay.
what we need to tell them. Yeah.
See, if your screenshots don't reflect the reality, your app will be at risk. Screenshots are visual evidence, right? The primary goal of the screenshot should be showcasing your app flow and features. And design, decoration, and marketing elements comes as secondary. Don't focus on that when you are first publishing your app. So good screenshot usually will have real and live app screens. It should demonstrate actual user flows. It should match the current app version, right? And basically think of it like this: screenshots tell a story, right? And you can design your screenshot in a way that they communicate the core purpose of your app effectively. And if I look at your screenshot, I should understand your app without reading the description. That's basically crux of this screenshots. Okay, and you can use device mockups. So make sure if you are publishing on App Store, you use Apple's device, and for Google Play Store, you want to use an Android device. Don't use the same screenshot on both the platforms. Okay. And also for creating screenshots, you can use simulated device. If you don't have a real devices, you can use emulator. This is available on Android Studio. You can use that to create a screenshot for different screens. And for iOS, there's called simulator. You can use that to create all the screenshots. Let's look at the example of Notion. The screenshots shown are the real app screens from current to production version, right? And they demonstrate actual product flows and functionality rather than conceptual or marketing only visuals. You can see the first screenshot is just hook users, and then all the other screens are relevant to the core features of the app. So you might want to copy the Notion here. Okay, next activity. Mr. Fawaz, I would like to invite you to take this.
Okay, right. In benefit of time, we're gonna just keep accelerating this. Let's put us into a quick test of what we've discussed so far, right? Which type of screenshot is considered best practice for the App Store listing? Let's take the phones. Think about all what we discussed about App Store branding. How does it work for the growth scaling? Right, let's take a quick reflect. A screenshot showing all the app screens, a screenshot highlighting key features, screenshot showing demo information, and screenshot taken in both app orientations. Let's give it a little bit of time for us to comprehend all what we discussed. Brilliant. Let's go next. Let's see what responses we've got. Amazing. Which type of screenshot is considered as best practice for the App Store listing? Screenshot highlighting the key features. Amazing, spot on, right? See, again, this is also right now, as Tikam said, technical and also strategical, right? Imagine how many apps that you would have heard the name, go on them and search them on the Play Store, but something didn't feel right about it and you didn't end up downloading, right? So we don't want your app to be one of those, right? Let's keep moving. Thank you, guys.
Okay, great answer. screenshots should highlight the key features effectively. So let's discuss about store listing metadata. Metadata will include your category, the audience selection, the keywords, the data declaration, the permissions, and policy answers, right? That we just saw in the demo. So reviewers will see more information than your users ever will, and they use that information to judge your intent, right? So make sure the category and subcategory are accurate when you select in the Play Store and App Store. And target audience and age rating should be accurate as well. If you declare audience conflicts with your content, review will delay. Okay, so if your app is for children, you might want to select children, and if your app is for only adults, you might want to select that. And keywords and metadata consistency. This consistency matters the most when it comes to the listing. Consistency across name, the description, category, and everything is critical to have in sync. So incorrect or careless metadata will often cause review delays or rejections, and these delays are preventable. Now let's zoom into category and audience selection specifically. Choosing the correct category really matters. A wrong category will confuse reviewers about the intent of your app. It will trigger additional policy scrutiny. Because certain categories automatically trigger deeper compliance checks. For example, if your app falls into health, news, and finance, it will of course go through longer review because they want to check all the features carefully. If you fall into sensitive category, take in account this delay. Okay, and sometimes personal developer accounts are not allowed to publish as with sensitive categories as well. So your target audience must align with app content and features and data collection and usage. Audience selection affects data handling requirements. Declaring for children increases compliance issues significantly, like I said before. So selecting an age group that does not match your app category and content can lead to rejection. And ensure your declarations are accurate. And throughout, selecting age group below 13 often falls into sensitive category and often requires proper review. Let's look at a real example of category and age rating in action. So for Notion, you can see the age rating is 4+ because this is a note-taking app and it can be downloaded with all kinds of audience. So for example, TikTok is a example of age rating where it actually matters, right? It can have some content which is not appropriate for children. So based on that, it has received a rating of 13+. Let's talk about data collection and legal terms now. So you must clearly disclose what data your app collects, why the data is collected, and how it's utilized in the app. And if the data is being stored locally or in server, how long it's kept, whether data shared externally or third parties. If a user sees unnecessary data being collected, they'll refund and may not download your app. So you might want to avoid the data that is not really needed for the app to function. So make sure that data collection matches your app's actual behavior. For Notion, you can see it clearly discloses the types of data it collects and how that data is used. The disclosures are provided on the store listing accurately to reflect the app's actual behavior and backend usage. You can see data linked to you, contact info, user content, search history. All of that data is linked to the user. But the usage data and diagnostics are not linked to the users. So this creates a trust, right? So if you only collect the minimal data required, users will trust your app more. Now, the next activity, Mr. Fawaz, I would like to invite you.
Hi. I'm quickly taking the question of Harij also. How much extra delay should we predict if they are in this category? Delays are, to be very honest, there is no common protocol, but usual response time between 24 to 72 hours, and some specific reviews are 5 days. Let's take it case by case, but subjectively expect a delay when you are getting into sensitive data, right? But we'll be very proactive. We'll try to understand in one-to-one how better we can make sure we avoid those delays. Right, let's take the phone, right? Quickly reflect on what this data collection and legal terms looks like. A data collection choosers are most likely to raise the reviewer's question, right? Let's take the phone and think about your process, right? And as Tikam said, most of the time we don't think about this, but trust me, this is one of the most growth potential, but thinking about this is not going to help until we have more app users. Get back to MVP to launch, right? Email address for account creation, access to contact for optional sharing. So assume this is a simple productivity app. Which data collection choices are mostly like to raise the reviewer's question? Is the email address, access to contact for optional sharing, usage analytics tied to anonymous user IDs, device information for crash reporting, right? Let's go next. Interesting. So see, across access contacts for optional sharing, absolutely very good choice, because you know that for accessing your contacts is a lot of permission and you're violating a fundamental of a privacy. Yes, if you want to choose an app delivery to send it to someone else, it can access your contacts with your permission, but see, it can raise some privacy concerns, right? An email address for account creation, as you know, it's very straightforward. That is not a big of a challenge in any case. Device information for crash reporting, yes. And usage analytics tied to anonymous user ID. So that itself explains anonymous user IDs can be challenged because you are trying to track the analytics. But on the other dates, the common trends are acceptable, right? So your app allows a lot more personalization in AI, data, machine learning. So that doesn't really conflict. Okay, with that, brilliant. Let's keep moving, but think about it. All of this matters when you grow and scale. Yes, Tika.
Yeah, great answer so far. So let's talk about testing readiness before submission. This is something we have already seen in the demo. This is an example of App Store details for your account, the demo account that you will be providing in the notes, right? So as I shown in the demo, it's similar to that, and you want to add all the information possible for reviewers to see your app and evaluate perfectly. Okay. Now let's talk about the testing part. So testing an app before launch helps ensure that you have validated your apps and it works properly. And you have also reduced the chances of users having bad experience, because having bad reviews will hurt you most than anything else. So make sure your app is tested well before you launch for the initial version, okay? And you are also ready for real world usage. And for this part specifically, I would like to invite Pooran to explain a bit more about close testing, which a lot of you will be needing for this program.
I have a question that can be of interest, perhaps, of everyone. What would you recommend to launch first, Android or iOS or both?
See, for Android, usually because there are automated checks, right? Even though Google has automated checks, it is more permissive, right? There are thousands of apps submitted every single day on on Apple. They are more restrictive, right? So if you are confident your app maintains highest level of standards and quality, you should absolutely submit to Apple first. But if your app is in the place where you are not so confident that there's actually a person involved in the Apple, right? That will be reviewing. So you can submit first on Android. So usually Android has a low barrier. Your app can get accepted easily on Android first. So I would always suggest go for Android if you can, because it will give a much needed confidence. And then you can, once your app is in the review, you have submitted for Google Play Store, then you can also work on the iOS build and submit it while it's being reviewed. So this is the approach I would always suggest, but think of one platform at a time. Yeah, hope that answers that.
Just adding to one of those in the one-to-one discussion, Sarah, your target audience might be on the Apple device users, right? You might be want to build an app for specific platform. Unless if always choose a technical feasibility option, because we have a timeline. So we always have a plan B. So if while you're working on Android, we have timelines and all of it, if it kind of challenge, we might have to pivot to plan B to get onto you on iOS. So have an idea of both, and also have an idea where you want to publish yourself, and let's take it forward. So just prioritize based on the where you want to, but also the feasibility technically and the human resource, right? Okay, thank you. Keep going, Tika.
Okay, Puran, you can share in. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know I was muted. Okay, so I'm back. Specifically, I would like to show you something regarding the Play Store account. If you are going for Android, there's a requirement. If you go for personal accounts, you need to go through a mandatory 14 days testing phase. where you will be required to complete these three steps. First of them is to publish a closed testing release, where you will upload the first version of your app, which we will use to evaluate and test for any bugs or crashes you might have. So just to make sure we polish the app before going for production, before going live to the users. This process helps polishing your app, right? So they have made it mandatory, and you don't have to worry about it. We will actually help you step by step through it. So the requirements are: you publish the first build, which we test with our testers as a part of Accelerator program. We will be providing you with the testers, all the required resources and everything, so you can smoothly glide through this process. So once you publish the first build, you have to opt in 12 testers to your closed testing, which I will be providing you as a part of this accelerator program. So this you can leave on me. And then you have to run the closed test with 12 testers for 14 days. So in this 14 days timeline, we will be evaluating your app to check if it has any issues, or there are bugs or crash, or is it incomplete or something like that. So we will provide you the actionable feedback which you can act on and release new updates. So this is how we will be polishing your app in this window. And once this 14 days window is completed, as of now, this app is on 10th day, and we have already released a few updates solving the issues it had and fixing the bugs. So we will be releasing updates to fix it. And once this process is completed, we will apply for production, which unlocks the production track, and we go for production directly. I think that's it, and we don't have to worry about it. We will be there. We'll solve any issues in one-on-one calls, and we'll be providing you all the resources and guides. I think back to Tika.
Thank you for the demo. So everybody's following along so far. Can I get a thumbs up?
Okay, Bahar is giving us thumbs up. Reem as well. Shalom, Musa, Nihaz, all right. We still
Amazing.
have you guys.
Okay.
If you have
So
any question, you can also unmute yourself, and we have 10 minutes now to go. So Tikam, do we have time for Q&A, or there's other things?
We would like to move it in the end of. You can drop the questions and we'll take it in the end. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And for iOS, there's a testing mechanism. It's called Test Flight app. So basically, your users will install Test Flight app, and they will get an email to install your app and test it. Okay. So it's similar process, but much straightforward. So let's talk about legal terms of your app. A surprising number of apps get rejected because of privacy policy issues, like we discussed before. Not because your app is unsafe, but because the policy is missing or incorrect. So make sure your privacy policy is publicly accessible and hosted on a web page that is 24/7 live. The privacy policy should be accessible in app as well. So make sure your privacy policy links are always there in your app as well. It could be in the about section, it could be in account page as well. And it should be accurate and honest data disclosure. It should have all the details that your app collects about the users. So any broken links, unreliable web page, or generic policies will get rejected. So make sure you create your privacy policy in accordance to your industry, right? So let's continue the next section. This is the Notion's privacy policy. I would like to give an example here again.
Yes, while Tikam showing that, yes, Hamala, if you get rejected on Android, so usually Android gives you much more structured response why you are rejected, so it can help you to rectify. But we will be on a very close monitoring and coaching with you through that process. But Apple sometimes gives you a very holistic response. So there's a difference. Yes, Tikam, if you can just show. You share this privacy link, they can go through this and we can keep moving, Tikam.
Okay, sure. So basically all these sections, you can take an example, and you also incorporate all these sections in your app. Okay. Let's talk about submissions, reviews, and rejections. So what happens during a review? After you submit your app, the reviewers will focus on what was sent for review, the app build, the store listing you created, and the related assets. So they will check whether the submitted app works as described, the core flows function without major issues, and the listing content accurately reflects your app. And screenshots, descriptions, and metadata must match the submitted version as well. And if you make any changes to the app before submission, such as adding or modifying a feature, all the related store assets must be updated accordingly. For example, if a feature was updated, the screenshot should be updated as well. So make sure the key insight here is the most rejections are not about the app itself, they are about inconsistencies. So there shouldn't be any inconsistencies. Let's talk about the timelines, what to expect about both the stores. iOS usually take around 48 to 72 hours, but may take up to 1 week for initial review, right? And timing will vary based on submission volume, app complexity, and review issues. And for Google, also, if you have a personal account, there will be a closed testing for 2 weeks before it's approved for production. And then after production is approved, it can take up to 1 week of review. So reviews will take longer when the account is new. If there's a new app with multiple changes submitted together, and if your app is in sensitive category. So even with preparation, sometimes app will still receive reviewer feedback, and let's look at what that feedback usually means. Understanding rejections, almost every developer receives a review feedback at some point, and a rejection is not the end of the process. It is a completely normal part of publishing, and they will help you fix or improve the exact spots which you missed or aren't aligned correctly. So reviewers will explain what didn't behave as expected. For example, feature not working, login issues, broken flow, and which guideline was violated. It will also tell you about what specifically needs to change. So make sure you carefully understand the reviewer message and then implement the changes. And never, the key insight here is the never send the same version without addressing the issues which cause the rejection, as multiple rejection could lead to permanent app suspension. So you might want to make sure that. Okay, for activity, Mr. Fawaz, I would like to invite you.
Yes, with that, I'll take it over.
The final one.
Puran, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, team, we're going to talk about this more extensively during the one-to-one. That's where you optional thing. But right now, let's get back into how this can help us to get ourselves activated, starting with the step one. So okay, I am having a Camilo, so we'll need to upload everything to Google 1 week before April 26th date. No, Camilo. If you look at your journey map right now, if you have access to your platform, you will look at it. There is a testing period which is starting from the next couple of weeks. Why? We will be asking you to upload a very basic first version of MVP. Do not worry, that's going to be personalized. We're going to go on it. Yes, so let's take the phone, scan the QR code, and if you have the questions meantime, you can just keep asking them. So we all take the session in relevant with your questions. What is the one specific change you would already identified for your app or store listing after this workshop? What do you think? With this, what do you think it has been reflected? Do you have you increased the thought process so it can be your questions too, right? Just keep going on. I'll just give a little bit of time, so because it's also a time that we need to put on Q&A. Right. Yes. While the thinking space is given, we'll also see what we have got as responses. Right. Curating a specific privacy policy. Amazing. Brilliant. No changes. I like that, right? So we're going to be on schedule. Amazing. Have not worked on privacy policy yet. Okay. If it has given some thought process, yes. And we can also fresh it again, Tikam, on the responses if you have any questions.
You can also put in chat if you're having difficulty answering it.
Yes, being simple, minimal, and some legal data added properly. Very good, amazing. And the keep relevant screenshots only. So amazing. So with that, so the whole idea is to understand how this can be rectified, and we can keep moving, Tika. Yeah, right. So, and preparing for production, approval is not the finish line, right? Before going live, ensure the app behavior matches the listing. Monitoring tools should be active. You should be ready for real users. The whole idea is not to build something to throw away. This should only help you to scale. So put in the time that it would require, and we are there to help you for the 14 days testing, get the MVP done. There is on-demand support. Capitalize on that, but just get it going, right? Let's try to fix the schedule, and that's what I said. It needs a lot of can-do attitude, and we can do it together, right? Let's keep going.
Yeah, so approval is not the finish line, but in reality, it's the starting line. That's how we should frame it. Once your app is live, real users will begin interacting with it. So make sure when you are going live, users will download the app and experience shouldn't feel different from what they saw in the store. And
let's keep going.
basically,
let's keep
going. This is the final one. So the monitoring tool should be active. So you can detect the problems early whenever users have problem with your app, and you should be ready with the real world users, because the real world users will test your app in different ways you didn't even expect. So that brings us to the end of this session. We have covered the key things you need to be aware of when publishing your app and the stores, and from preparing to listing to metadata to understanding the review process and avoiding common delays. The goal of everything we discussed today is simple: to help you create a clear, trustworthy store presence for your app and make the publishing process smoother. And to wrap things up, I would like to invite Mr. Fawaz to share the key takeaways from today's workshop.
Thank you, Tika. Bahar, what do you mean with monitoring tools? So these are basically the analytical tools, which is back in your systems to see how many people downloaded, and there are a basic version which Google offers, and there is also a much more integrative tools which can you monitor the behavior, which screen, who has, how many of people has spent. If you are doing a classified or if you are a public app, right, it can apply a lot of monitoring tools, because you want to dynamically change those. So the key takeaway is just three core things. Your accuracy is very important. Publishing is about trust. Think about why they asked this document. So just keep getting that, and we always can raise a request to them. App stores act quality filters. So just think that as it's a quality filter in your process. That's why it's taking a lot of time. Because as you see, this requires a lot of time to fill this and be patient and get this particular fundamental done. MVP must work end to end. What you are publishing, Sarah should be able to download and go through that process and say, hey, this is amazing. We're happy just creating this, right? And minimal and not incomplete. And your store listing is verification document, and clarity reduces the friction. So keep going. Next one. Yes. So the trust, functionality, and honesty. So please make sure your privacy policy, data governance. On one-to-one, if you need, we'll talk intensive about, do we need to go for, at least at the growth stage, if you go for licensing, will it unlock any multiple capabilities and opportunities? But get your fundamental trust. Functionalities should work. And compliance is about mismatch. So no need to take unwanted compliance, but let's also not avoid, which is a fundamental compliance, right? And the honesty. Let's keep moving. Yes, so reminder for the submission before the workshop 3. So the next Monday we meet, and it's a very, very intensive week. Thanks to all of you for putting this much of energy, and that drives us, right? So what do we do next? Keep moving. So as you know, you are right now thinking through. So now you have even taken to the Play Console and Apple Developer account. You have talked about it. So go ahead, create one, submit the screenshot of it. It's okay, it's pending for verification. You just start it. Make sure before tomorrow you have started that process and submit some sort of evidence to it, just as a screenshot, as simple as that. Execution of owner confirmation, think about the enterprise account, or you have going on the personal account, what billing information you're going to give, have everything ready. If you have not thought about it, think about it and act about it. That's this submission is about. The submission is not for evaluation, get you back into the progress. Right, let's move. So before we hand over to Sarah, we'll see you on the workshop 3, which is understanding the app from development to make sure that we are working in terms of the development of it. So remember, we have talked about MVP, we've talked about the testing and the creation. So next is about building and publishing the updates, right? So before that, let's get the fundamental done. Thank you very much for being there, for energy. Just last thumbs up saying that we are all clear. We are going to go get this done. So give me a thumbs up. Yes. All right. Thank you very much, team. And then back to Sarah.
Hello. Thank you very much, Fawaz. Thank you, everyone on the call. I hope everything was clear for you now. It's a good starting point to get you up and running, to submit your MVP in 45 days. To be honest, it's super simple as a process. And the good part is, if you have any question, you have Fawaz and the team on a one-on-one call. We were very happy to have more than 50 people who attended the workshop today. So it's a good sign, and it shows that you are committed and you really want to push things further. So thank you for honoring your commitment. If you have any question, we're available on the chat, WhatsApp, email, and on one-on-one calls. So we are there for you. And the only thing you have to say is, I need help, I need clarification, and we'll be there. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your energy. We truly appreciate. For those who are fasting, Ramadan Kareem, and happy iftar, because it's like in an hour or so. So bon appetit. And for those who are not in fasting mode, bon appetit, because maybe it's dinner where you are in Canada, or maybe it's breakfast in Nicaragua. God knows. Have a good day. Have a nice evening, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
This incredible journey. Until next time, happy learning.